Hello, Mick. Hello.
Hello there. How are you doing, my friends?
Hi,
Hello,
we're good.
big up, thanks.
We're very well,
Nice to
thank you.
nice to see you. Never mind the barking dogs outside my door. They want to play.
We actually heard it hours into my sister Sam's room.
So, Mick,
I have a dog as well, and he's very boisterous. So
Yeah, they tend to be that way.
Mick,
yeah.
thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us. We really, really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um,
All right. Now you
quick,
know I'm on a little bit of a time crunch because I have to catch a plane, right?
Yes, we're gonna have
Okay,
Okay.
this will be quick, we promise.
you got it.
right. Well, so my name's Adam. I'm a teacher at the school, and this is Tom and Alyssa, who are students at our school. So there's
Well,
a
nice to meet you both, Tom and Alyssa.
Nice to meet you too.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. You've got some questions for me?
yeah.
Yep.
That's
Go on then, Tom. When you're ready.
all right. Joining us today on the TWS Sports Podcast is a WWE Hall of Fame legend. Welcome to the podcast, the hardcore legend Mick Foley.
Why, thank you very much. I know we've been working on this for a little while, and we have it
Yep.
happen here. And I'm really happy to be with you.
Thank you.
All right. So do you want to dive right in?
Go for it, Alyssa.
Let's do it.
Okay. The first question is, you have mentioned that one of your greatest matches of all time was with Shawn Michael at the In Your House Mind Games pay-per-view. What was your memories of that match, and what was it like to work with Shawn?
Well, working with Sean was like a dream. I don't mean like a dream come true. It was like being in a dream because
Okay.
it was so amazing. He was so fluid and so smooth. We had worked together on a handful or maybe a dozen tag team matches, but we had never had a singles match. And it was a matter of everything that I envisioned coming to fruition, but coming to fruition in a better way than I could have imagined. So it was probably my second favorite match I've ever had, and it was really creative and just a great match with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
So, Mick, I grew up in the 90s, so watching wrestling in the 90s was amazing for me. But I remember I was scarred for life, I think, in one of your matches. October 20th, 1996, Indianapolis. You and The Undertaker had the first ever Buried Alive match. I remember I was 6, 7, and I genuinely thought you would kill The Undertaker. How can you take us back to that match, and what was that like for you?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about an ominous stipulation. You have to bury your opponent alive. So there'd never been a match like that. This is the first ever Buried Alive match. There was a reason why in every other subsequent Buried Alive match, of which there was like four, there was a backhoe that they used to fill in the grave site in a hurry, but we didn't have that. So after struggling, valiantly, I think it was a 17-minute match at a pretty good pace. It was then our job to try to fill in a hole that would usually require 3 or 4 men an hour to do, and we're trying to do it in 5 minutes without equipment. So that was the most difficult part of the match, but it was fun. I understand there were some small children who thought they were seeing a human being perishing and leaving this world. But at the end, if you remember, his hand did come up out of the grave.
It did.
And Jim Ross said, "He's alive, he's alive." Like the classic, I think 1937 Frankenstein. He's alive, he's alive. So we thought we gave people some hope. But if you were live, the crazy thing was at that time, if you were live at the venue, at that time, we had what was known as in your house pay-per-views, which are only 2 hours, and I think they were $10 cheaper. And in order to try to fill the arenas, you have something called non-televised dark matches, which are advertised matches that do not air on the pay-per-view. So if you were there live, it went from "he's alive" he's alive, to the Undertaker pulling his hand down. And then you heard music and the New Rockers came out to the ring to the Bushwhackers. So if I was a 6-year-old at the arena, my big question would be like, why aren't they trying to get him out of there? But the truth is, WWE had built their own subterranean world inside that mound of earth. And it was pretty fascinating. I don't want to give away all the secrets, but let's just say the Undertaker was not actually buried alive.
Yeah, and also, Adam, that's what you get for watching something like that when you're 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old.
I know. Go on then, Tom.
We recently spoke to Kurt Angle on the podcast, and we got in touch with him yesterday and asked if he could give us a question to ask you. Kurt said to ask you about when you wanted to team up with Kurt Angle. Kurt was going to be your understudy. At least that is what you wanted.
Yeah, I was, I think at that time I was a bad guy or a heel, or maybe I was planning on becoming a bad guy. And I saw so much potential in Kurt Angle, not just because he was Olympic champion, but I saw a little bit of that humor. You know, when he first came on the air with his 3 eyes, intensity, integrity, and intelligence, I thought, oh, he's on to something. Like, he is looking down on the rest of our audience and the other superstars in the dressing room. And I have to tell you, I had some pretty big plans for me and Kurt, but it was nothing compared to what Kurt actually went on to do. So he exceeded all expectations, even my expectations, which were pretty high for him.
Wow.
Right. Your feud continues with The Undertaker, and it built up to one of the greatest matches of all time. On June 28th, 1998, in Pittsburgh, you faced The Undertaker in a Hell in the Cell. Before we talk about that the match, I want to know what it was like in the lead up to the match. Did you have any idea it had the potential to be one of the greatest matches of all time?
No, I was just trying in some way not to embarrass myself, given that the only other cell match in history had been Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, which was such an outstanding match. And I was just trying to think of ways to work around my own physical weaknesses so that we would not embarrass ourselves compared to Shawn's match, and B, embarrass the legacy that The Undertaker and I had established with each other.
I see.
Yeah.
Now we're coming up on the 25th anniversary of that huge event.
Incident.
Pretty special, right?
Wow.
I pretty much call it an incident for you, I'm afraid.
Yeah. 25 years later, look at my smile. Those bottom teeth are the ones that were knocked out that night.
Mm-hmm.
So
I believe I also saw one in your nose.
Yeah, one of them was in my nose. That's
Oh,
correct.
dear.
Correct.
Go on, Tom.
Whose idea was it to firstly go on top of the cell, and whose idea was it for you to be thrown off the cell?
Well, I don't want to give all our secrets away, but seeing as I already wrote about it in a book, I guess we could say that it took some talking to for The Undertaker to get on the same page with me, because he liked me and did not want to see me among the deceased. So we're dealing with a high amount of danger. I had to do my best job of lying to The Undertaker, and I told him I was perfectly comfortable going up there, and I talked him into throwing me off as well.
At least you didn't have vertigo.
I did. Yeah, I get really scared of big heights. So I was conquering that fear, or at least battling that fear. But I was really scared when I was up there, for sure.
Because when you were on top of the cell, it was given away when you were just walking on top of it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was held together by twist ties, which was not the case when Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker were up there. So we do remember the sound. You could hear him going.
That's usually a sign of, I'm going to go, get out the way.
Yeah, we're really lucky when I got back up there and The Undertaker choke slammed me. we're lucky that he was on a different panel than I was, because if he had choke slammed me, and he was on that panel, we both would have gone through. And that second fall could have ended up much worse than it was. And it was bad as it was.
Yes, I got the feeling that Undertaker did that on purpose to prevent hurting both of you any more than you were already.
Oh, no.
see
I
that.
only heard him point that out 5 years ago on the 20th anniversary.
Alyssa, do you want to do number 9?
At number 9, you had just been thrown off the cell, and for some crazy reason, you decided to go back up and climb on top of the cell again. Why?
Oh, I don't know. You get these crazy ideas when you believe in your character, the match, the feud, and you really have, what comes out to like a warped idea of your own humanity. I just thought that would be incredible. I did not know if I'd be able to make it back up, but I did tell Mr. McMahon and The Undertaker that if I could, I would. And as soon as the fans saw that I was heading back up the cell, and as soon as they saw Undertaker following me, oh, that place came alive. That city of Pittsburgh was, they were alive.
Undertaker then. Oh, this isn't technically the same thing, is it? Oh no, I think it is to do with Hell in a Cell. Undertaker then chokeslam you through the cell. What was that meant to happen? And talk to us about that.
Well, I'll tell you what was not meant to happen was the cell was not supposed to give way. So,
yeah, we got that feeling.
Yeah, so that was a surprise. So, I woke up about 42 seconds later, and I realized my teeth had been knocked out. And,
Again?
Yeah, again. Oh, no, this was the first time. They did not get knocked out first time off the cell. They were knocked out the second time. And there was a pair of shoes in the ring. I had no idea what had taken place in those 42 seconds.
Why were there shoes in the cell?
Well, a good friend of mine, Terry Funk, and that's Funk, F-U-N-K, so I'm not cursing on your show. He had tried to buy some time for me. And in buying time, he was chokeslammed by The Undertaker. And in the process of being chokeslammed, his shoes came off his feet. So when I came to 42 seconds later, the first thing I could think of is, oh, where'd those shoes come from? Because it was all a mystery to me.
Do you look back on that match, Mick, with any regret, or of maybe you shouldn't have done some of the things you did, looking at the injuries you had, or do you look back and very fondly on that match?
Well, I do look back very fondly on it. It's funny because I've been doing some reading on a 70s teen idol, David Cassidy. And he went through a similar process where in the aftermath of his show, so I say in the aftermath of my match, you kind of resent that it's the only thing people remember you for. And then over time, you come around to realizing how fortunate you are to be remembered for anything, let alone an event that's been passed down, literally to the next generation. So this is a match that has become bigger than just wrestling. You go to the World Cup, and if the score is 3-0 early on, they have somebody come in with Jim Ross's voice go, "Would somebody stop the darn match? Enough is enough." So it's become an iconic part, not just of wrestling, but of popular culture. And I don't know if The Rock is a part of pop culture, but this was kind of like my way in with this wild and crazy match that, where everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but somehow The Undertaker and I limped our way into the pages of wrestling history.
Literally.
Mick, we got few more questions. That's okay.
Yes, sir.
Tom, do you want to do my question, number 14?
Sure. Just get to it now. Oops. Another match of yours that sticks in mind is the match with you and The Rock having the I Quit match at the Royal Rumble in 1999. The Rock has said in recent interviews that he went too far in that match and regrets what happened. Can you talk to us about that match and your relationship with The Rock at the time? And do you think he went too far?
So he has said he went too far.
I think he said in a recent interview that he went too far with the cheer shots. He shouldn't have done
We
as many.
did. We got carried away. We got caught up in the moment. Things didn't work out logistically like we thought they might. And so it was excessive. So I was just talking on my podcast, talking about the 1999 Royal Rumble match with The Rock, which was I Quit, opposed to or juxtaposing or comparing it to the match I had a year later with Triple H at the Royal Rumble. And you'll have people who will watch the Royal Rumble match with Triple H dozens of times. Whereas when it comes to the match with The Rock, it's one of the things you watch it once and you say, I think I've had enough of that match, because it was excessive, and the excessiveness took away from the ability to enjoy it. And so, it caused a few hard feelings, but trust me, those hard feelings have gone away. Nothing but sunshine in the way I look at The Rock these days.
Well, a few years later, you obviously had the famous Rock and Sock connection.
We did. I think it was within a year, because we had that match January of 99, or was it January of 99? And
Royal Rumble 99, January.
And we were teaming up, I think 5 months later. So we had quite a team. We had a lot of fun teaming up together.
Alyssa, do you want to do 16?
16. Oh yes. You played 3 different characters: Mankind, Cactus Jack, and Dude Love. Which one is was your favorite? And is it true Cactus Jack was named after your dad?
Hold on a second. I just have to go somewhere for 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to fill in Mick in the meantime. Say the Mankind was my favorite face of Foley, and probably too. Have a nice day. Okay, I'm back. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay, good. What was the question again?
Is it true Cactus Jack was named after your dad?
He was. Yeah, he sure was. We were watching a movie. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger's first movie role outside of a documentary called Pumping Iron, and he was a supporting character. The main character was Kirk Douglas as an aging outlaw named Cactus Jack Slade. So now I think the movie is no longer called The Villain. I think it's actually called Cactus Jack. And I had this idea in my head of a character I wanted to be, which was Dude Love. But I realized I would need some seasoning and some experience before I could be this vaunted character from my mind. And I thought, Cactus Jack, that's kind of a plain sounding name and a way for me to pay tribute to my dad while I learn. And then the Cactus Jack character stuck around for 12 years.
Yes.
That's great.
He also had a thing for carrying around bats with, what was it again?
Barbed wire?
Yes. And trash cans.
I did. Yeah, I did. When I was, I did 15 tours of Japan, and I was working for a smaller promotion, and they had one of those barbed wire bats, and that was considered just part of a match. So I borrowed it, and I popularized, kind of introduced it to the United States. So whenever I'm asked about the gentleman on Walking Dead and whether I'm upset by it, I'm like, man, I'd like to be upset, but I didn't actually invent it. And besides, the actor, I can't remember his name, even though I should. He sent me a birthday tweet 2 years ago, and he said, happy birthday, one of the great ones. I may have borrowed a move or two from you. So people acknowledge, the influence. That I think that's all that counts.
Tom, number 17.
Yeah. Can you switch between characters now? Can we ask Mankind a question, please?
Let me see if I can find him. Hold on. Mankind, are you there? I don't want to talk to these people. I don't think they like me.
Of course we do. Don't be silly.
Okay, I have time for one question. What is it?
Okay. how does Mankind look back on his career? What kind of person are you?
Well, Mankind looks back on his career and he thinks that Mick Foley took credit for the things that I did. He won no WWE titles. I won 3. I defeated Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it was a feat so nice. I did it twice. Can I go now?
Of course, go on.
Thanks. Oh, there you go. Always nice to hear from Mankind, right?
Yes.
That's true.
I wonder if you know what he said.
One more question. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yes.
Of course it is. Tom, do you want to do 21?
Yeah, sure. Back to Mick Foley now. And could we play a quick game with you, please? Our sponsors Gold set us a challenge each week with our guests. And this week, the challenge is to name a WWE wrestler starting with each letter of the alphabet. So the wrestlers' first names need to start with the letter A, then another wrestler's name start with B, then C, and so on. Do you reckon you could do that in 45 seconds?
In 45 seconds, man.
Yes.
I'm having trouble finding an A. Okay, let's give it a try.
Here we
Fine, off you
go.
Andre the Giant. Bob Bradley. C.
Cactus Jack.
Who?
Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack. D. I can't believe I'm failing. I'm crumbling under the pressure. D. Daddy Cool. That's Big Daddy Cool. E. I think I'm going to fail this. I'm not going to do it in 45 seconds. Edward. I used to be so good at this game with my kids. Kids, help me out here. I need a wrestler's first name starts with E.
Edge.
Ellis Edwards was the stunt coordinator in WWE. I'm giving it. F. Frank the Clown. He appeared in the background of several scenes in WWE. G. Gorgeous George. I'm going to go with Gorgeous George. F. G. H. Hulk Hogan.
I.
Incredible Hulk Hogan, which was he was billed as for a while. J. Jack. Jumping.
John Cena.
Jumping
Yeah.
Angelo Boldy. J. K. Got to be a killer in there somewhere. Not Krampus. There was no Krampus. K.
Kurt
K.
Angle.
Who?
Yes, that's
Kurt
it.
Angle.
Kurt Angle. K.
Yeah.
H-I-J-K. L. The List of Jericho. M. Mick Foley. N. Nick Faley, which I was billed as in one of my early days by mistake. O. Oh. Did I ever say
no.
Andre the Giant spelled with an O? No, it doesn't count. Oh, Oscar.
Owen Hart.
I'm stumped.
Oh, jeez. Oh, P. Pat Patterson. Q. Oh, wow. Queen, which is Queen Sherry. Q. R. Rapid Roy, the stock car boy. That was a Jim Croce song. S. Sam.
Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen, was he on WWE?
Yeah.
I think
Let's count it. Okay. T.
Triple H.
Geez, you're much better than this. You are T. Undertaker. V. Viscera. The W. The Wanderer, Jerry McIntyre. Never in WWE. He was on independent shows. It's in my book, so I'm going to count it. X. I don't know if we had an X. Have we?
Mom. Any
X-Pac.
wrestlers with an X?
Creed. Xavier.
Huh?
Xavier
X-Pac.
Woods. Oh yeah, Xavier Wood and X-Pac and
X-Pac appears to exist, yes. My mom thinks so.
Zabisco. I'm going with last name Zabisco. So I did okay, right?
Well done. Sorry to
Yeah.
put you on the spot there, Mick.
Hey, I've got to catch a plane. I'm going
Yes.
to the Royal
Right.
Rumble, and I will talk to you guys at another time.
Mick,
Bye.
one word
Thanks
answer.
again.
One word answer. Who's going to win the Rumble?
I am rooting for Becky Lynch or Rhea Ripley for the women, and I'm rooting for Cody Rhodes or possibly a surprise entrant that I don't want to name because I don't know if he's going to be there or not. I don't want to get people's hopes up. Cody Rhodes or a surprise entrant, and for the women, Becky or Rhea Ripley.
Is Mick Foley win the surprise entrance?
No, I wouldn't be able to last on my jog down to the ramp. You know, I'm not in very good shape right now, but I'm working on it. Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank
I
you
know
so
it
much,
was
Mick.
kind of abrupt,
Thanks again,
but
Mick.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye. My
Right,
face hurts.
Tom and Alyssa. Mick's just gone. How did you find that? Alyssa, I'm going to start with you. How was that?
It was great. My mum was smiling at me the whole way through. So I know I did good.
Well done. What was your favourite story, Alyssa? What was your favourite story?
My favorite story. Probably the one with the Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, it was an incredible match. Really, really, really good match. Tom, what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm not getting it confused with it. Was Hell in the Cell the incident with Undertaker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that one was my favorite because like Undertaker's so infamous and like I think this because like the moment shocked everyone and it was just like I was just really glad for that to be mentioned.
Mhm.
So,
I'm for one surprised Mankind actually showed up twice.
yeah, that was incredible. I'm so glad that actually happened.
I was starting to wonder if he could hear us.
I know, and I think as well, if you're listening to this, then head over to our social media because, Mankind made an appearance. I know you heard his voice, but we actually saw him on the screen, didn't we? So head over to our social media on our YouTube channel to watch Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, thank you so much. And if you are listening and it was sounded a bit different today, we're all in our respective homes because we recorded
Yes.
it in the evening due to the time difference of Mick being in America. Sorry, it was a bit of a shorter podcast. As Mick said, he had to go to the
Yes,
Royal
he's
Rumble,
very
which
busy.
is tomorrow. So he's flying over to I don't know where the Royal Rumble is this year.
Mhm.
Texas.
Texas.
So he's flying to
Texas.
Texas to watch the Rumble. So thank you so much for listening. Tom, do you
Mm-hmm.
want to wrap it up?
Thanks everyone so much for watching. Again, make sure to follow us on our socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and make sure to also subscribe to the TWS Sports Podcast YouTube channel if you haven't already. And also make sure to listen to us on Spotify, the podcast app, Apple Music, and anything else that has podcast. Take
And
care, everyone, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Oh, one more thing though. If any of you have any ideas who this surprise guest on Royal Rumble will be, let us know.
I'm going for The Rock.
Yeah,
Really?
that will be amazing because he still reappears. I'm with Adam on this one.
Right.
Don't jinx it, boys.
Right, Alyssa, Tom, you're amazing as always. Well done, and thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for
Thanks again,
listening.
Adam.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
You too, Adam. All right.